Hey guys, welcome to part 2 of our Bootstrap and SASS template. In this video I want to implement Bootstrap and also Font Awesome for our icons. Alright, so our project directory looks like this. What I'm going to do is go to getbootstrap.com and we're going to go ahead and download Bootstrap. Okay, so we'll open that up and we're just going to drag some files over. Alright, so basically we want our CSS. All I'm going to take from here is bootstrap.css. That's all we need. Alright, so fonts. Oh, we didn't even create a fonts folder. Okay, so fonts, we'll bring over all these glyphicons, even though we're going to be using Font Awesome for our icons, but just in case you wanted to use some of those. JavaScript, okay, we're just going to bring over bootstrap.js, and that's all we need from that. So we also want jQuery. Alright, so I'm going to save this in the project in the JS folder, and I'm just going to rename this just to jQuery.js just to simplify things. Alright, next we want Font Awesome. Okay, so we want to download. Okay, open that up. And we want to grab from here fonts. Excuse me. And the CSS file. Now you can see we do have SCSS files if you want to do that, but I'm not going to do it for this project. It'll just overcomplicate things. So I'm just going to grab the CSS file. Alright, so that's our structure. Now we need to create an index HTML file. Alright, and just to get some core Bootstrap code, we'll go to Get Bootstrap, and then Getting Started, go to Examples, Starter Template, do a Control U, and we'll just grab all this. Okay, now we'll go back to our index and paste this in, and then we'll go through it. Okay, so we have the HTML5 doc type, HTML tag, English language, character set. Okay, we want this, we want the viewport because it's going to be responsive. I'm going to get rid of description, author, and icon. And then the title, Sky App, welcome. Okay, the Bootstrap CSS file, remember we only took the bootstrap.css. And then here we want to change the path. We want to get rid of this because it's just right in our CSS file. Alright, so the starter template here, we're not going to need. What we want to include is our Font Awesome, so css/fontawesome.css, and then we want our main CSS file. Okay. And then these from here to here we can just get rid of. Alright, so the navbar goes from here to here. container. I'm going to get rid of this. And then down here for the JavaScript, we have a link to that links to the Google jQuery index, but we're just going to include our own. So let me get rid of this, and we want to go to JavaScript / jQuery dot. Oops, sorry about that. jQuery.js, and then the Bootstrap JavaScript. Get rid of that, and then we can get rid of this. All right. So if we save that, let's see what it looks like. All right. So basically, we have an empty site. We have a nav bar, and that's it. But we have everything included. Let's check the console, make sure there's no errors here. Nope. All right, good. So now we're ready to start writing our HTML. So we'll start with the nav bar. Basically, we want to keep this. We want to keep all these classes. Project name, Sky App. For the links, we have a home, which will go to index.html. And what else do we want? An about page. Okay, that'll go to about.html. Contact. We'll go to contact.html. And we want a couple more pages here. Okay, so we want services. And our blog page. Alright, and then we're going to have our login and register link. So we want to get out of this unordered list and then have a new one. Alright, and we're going to give it a couple classes. Okay, first we want nav. We want navbar. Navbar nav. Okay, these are all core Bootstrap style classes. Navbar sub, and we want to pull right. We want it to float to the right. All right, we'll have two list items, and this one will be register. And this one will be login. Alright, so that's it for our nav bar. We're going to have a lot of styling to do. Okay, we need to turn this nav bar into this. Okay, but I just want to get the HTML done first before we get into that. Alright, let me see. Okay, we'll make sure the responsive menu works. Alright. So under the navigation, we're going to start our showcase, alright, which is this area with the image, with this this copy in here, buttons. Alright, so what I like to do is format my HTML pages in sections. Alright, so this will be a section called showcase, and they don't always have to have a class, but what I like to do is create different versions. Alright, so this here with the search bar and this light blue background, this will be a section, and we'll call it section/light because it has the light color. Basically, we're going to have a few different color variables. We'll have primary, which is going to be this blue. We'll have secondary, which will be the green. We'll have light, which will be this light blue, and then we'll have dark, which will be like a dark gray. Alright, and then this here is another section. Okay, this will be a section. This is a section with the class of section light. This will be another section with the class of section primary, and then we have our footer. Alright, so that's just my preference, how I like to build HTML5 sites. You may already have a kind of a method that you stick to, and that's fine. So what we're going to do is add a section. So section class is going to be showcase. And actually, you know what? I want to add another SCSS file in layouts. Actually, you know what? Never mind. The code for this we'll put in our sections SCSS file, so never mind. Alright, so in our section, we're going to have a div with the class of container, and if you use Bootstrap at all, then you know what container is. Basically, it takes everything and gives it a width and sets it in the middle. So this entire area here, you can see how it's set in the middle, and we have margin auto on each side. Alright, so that's a container. And I'm also going to add another class to this called showcase content. Alright, and then in there we'll have our H1. We'll say Bootstrap HTML5 template, and then we'll have a paragraph, and I want to give it a class of lead, which is a Bootstrap class. And I'm just going to grab some text and paste it in. Okay, so I just have a strong around the Bootstrap 3, and we have a line break here to make it 2 lines. So under that, we want our buttons. So I'm going to create a div with the class of downloads. Excuse me. Alright, and we're going to have a link that goes nowhere. And we'll have 2 images. So this will be around an image. And this will be called img for our image folder, and then btn dash download dot png. And we might as well add some alt text. Just say download. Alright, and then we want another one. I'm just going to copy this here. And this one is going to be called App Store. Alright, so we might as well get the images. So in your source files, the link is in the description. You should find the images. Basically, I'm just going to grab all of them. I don't want the PSD. And put them inside the images folder. Where are we? Alright, so that's it for the showcase area. Next is going to be where that search box is. Okay, the search, and this is going to be a section. It's going to have a class of section light. Alright, so we want to go right here. Section class section light, and let's see. Okay, we want a container. And the reason that the container is on the inside of the section is because we want the background of the section to go across the entire page. You know, no matter how wide you open your browser, it should go all the way across. If we put a container outside of it, then it would only go from here to here. All right, we want the content to be in the middle inside the container, but not the actual section. Okay, so in our container, we're going to use the grid system, Bootstrap grid system. Basically, we need to create a class called row, and then our columns. All right, so what I'm going to do with this section is have two 6-column divs. Okay, one here, one here. And this is empty, but you could put something here if you want, maybe social network icons or something like that. But for now, we're just going to have the search bar in one of the columns. Okay, so div class call-md-6. Okay, and then we want the same thing. And then inside here is where we want our form, our search form. Okay, so form class search. And what do we want to do? We want a div and then an input type is going to be search. We're going to use the HTML5 search type, and we'll put a placeholder that'll say search website and products. Alright, and then we want a button with a type of submit and a value. Actually, I'm going to leave the value blank, and then we want to use an image as the button. Alright, so here we're going to say image src is going to be in the images folder and called search.png. And we'll also have an alt text that'll say search. Alright. Oh, this should be an equal sign. Alright, so if we save this and take a look now, it's not going to look very pretty. Alright, so you can see that it's even under the navigation bar, so we're going to have to fix that later. This image isn't being found. Button, App Store. Oh, there's no dash. Alright, there we go. Alright, so let's just keep going with the HTML. We have our showcase and our first section, or our second section. Next, we want our section with the 3-column layout. So this right here, it's going to have 3 columns with 3 blocks. Alright, so I want to go out of this last section. And you know what, I'm not even going to give this a class because there's no background or anything like that. The blocks are going to be styled individually. Okay, so we need a container. And then we want a row. And then we're going to want 3 4-column divs. So call MD4. I'm just going to copy this. And then in each column, we want our block. So div class. Okay, the first block is going to be that blue. That's going to be a primary block. So class is going to have block. Okay, all blocks will have the class of block in addition to their styling, which in this case is block primary. And then inside there we want an H3, and we want an icon, so we're going to use font awesome. So we'll have an I tag, the class. When you use font awesome, you always need the FA class and then the icon you want. In our case, it's going to be FA-check. Alright, and I can show you real quick. All the icons are located here. There's just a ton of them. And if you click on one, it'll give you the exact code, which is the FA and then the icon name. Alright, so we want the check mark. Okay, now for the H3 text, what do I want? Sleek. And then we want a paragraph. And I'm just going to grab some text real quick, just some dummy lipsum text. Alright, and then we want a read more, so href. And let's see this. Let's see what this button looks like. We're just going to use the default button, which is a white button. So class, you always want to use BTN and then BTN whatever style. Default, BTN default is a Bootstrap core style. And this is going to say read more. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is copy the block and paste it in these two. And then just change the middle one is going to be block secondary. And we'll change sleek to responsive. And we'll change this to clean. Alright, so if we save that, it's going to look horrible. Actually, it doesn't look too bad. You can see we have our columns. I just want to put a space after the check marks, even though we probably will add a margin. Alright, so that's it for the 3-column section. Now we want the 4-column, which is this here. And I'm going to stop this video here and we'll continue in part 3. I just want to keep the videos around 20-25 minutes. So we'll do this in the next part.